Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kanyunyu Zibeti, but you can still call me Nyunyu. As I said in my introduction video, we are going to be talking about information literacy, what information literacy involves, the different sources of information, and the different things we do. Sometimes we think they are right, and yet they are not supposed to be done, especially when you're doing some official work. So today I've come with something new, something very different. Previously we were talking about the different sources of information, but now today we are going to talk about information itself. We are going to talk about a practice we do. Maybe some of us do it without knowing that is what we've been doing, but it is what we're going to talk about, and it is simply what we call plagiarism. So we are going to talk about plagiarism today. So let's open up our work. Okay, let's open up. Yeah, that is simply what we're going to talk about, plagiarism. So when we talk of plagiarism, what comes into your mind? What do you think of? What do you understand by that term? So it is simply presenting someone's work without giving them credit in your essay. Like you use someone's work, but you don't mention it that you used someone's work. You write as if the work written is yours, and yet it doesn't belong to you. So plagiarism involves the intentional or negligent use of information by paraphrasing or direct quotation of the published or unpublished work of another person without full and clear acknowledgement in all, such as scholarly work as essays, examinations, oral written reports, homework assignments, laboratory reports, computer programs, music, and many more. So when you do any of the above listed without acknowledging the owner or the first person that did the work, then you just write it, you will have done what we call plagiarism. So let's look at the different types of plagiarism. We have 4 different types of plagiarism that we're going to talk about. The first one is direct plagiarism, the second one is self, the third is mosaic, and the fourth one is accidental plagiarism. They are all different forms, but they are types of what we call plagiarism. So to begin with, we are going to begin with direct plagiarism. What do we mean when we say direct plagiarism? It is simply copying text word to word without citation. You copy someone's work. It may have been published or not published, but then copying someone's work word to word, letter per letter, without citing that the work you used or the idea you have in your work was from another person. You write without specifying or citing. That is what we call direct plagiarism. Yeah, that is what we mean by direct plagiarism. And people may be confused and they're like, direct, we need an example. So this is an example of direct plagiarism. As you can see, there was a student A who used information from a given source, but then the student did not specify or did not cite the work. Instead, when you're reading the work, you may think it belongs to this student, and yet he got it from a given source, but he left the source uncited, or he did not credit the owner of the source he or she used. So this is simply what we mean when we talk of direct plagiarism. Yeah, that is the first type of plagiarism. Then we are going to look at the second one, which is self-plagiarism. Someone may be confused. How can self-plagiarism occur? How can it come about? But then it is simply when a student or anyone, it is not only for students but anyone, when you submit work that has been handed in. For example, you may be given a question that you once did, then instead of paraphrasing or changing the way you phrased it in the previous paper or assignment, you just rewrite it the way you had written it before. That is what we call self-plagiarism. It's not supposed to be done. It's wrong. So self-plagiarism, it's simply you submit your work twice, or you rate your work, and it is you who wrote, like you're given work, you rate, then the other person gives you the same or similar work, but you use the exact information you had handed in to complete the other assignment. That is what we refer as self-plagiarism. And as the example says, it would be unacceptable to incorporate part of a high school term paper written work into a paper assigned in college course. You may have done a paper in secondary or high school, any level of education, but then you've moved from that level to another and you're given maybe similar work. What you do, you just rewrite what you wrote in the previous assignment or paper you had. That is wrong. That is what we call self-plagiarism. Then the other one is mosaic plagiarism, and this one is simply mixing copied phrases with your own words without citation, sometimes called as patch writing. You just mix, you get your own, you mix your own words with another person's work, and yet at the end of it all, you do not cite that the work, you had a given source you used, but to come up with your own idea, instead you confuse mixing words and phrases from someone's work and your own work to come up with one overall assignment, which is not right. This kind of paraphrasing, whether intentional or not, is academically dishonest and punishable. Sometimes you may be punished, so it's better you cite. If you've used a source and the work you used was not yours, always cite. Do not forget to cite, especially for people in academics, people doing in official work and academic ratings and work stuff. So here there is an example of what we call the mosaic. A student had, let me read for you. Only 2 years later, all these friendly shares were suddenly plugged into new conditions, including starvation. So the student mixed up some words from the source into their work, but then they did not cite at the end of their work, showing where the information had been gotten or the major source of the information. So that is what we term as the mosaic plagiarism. The fourth and last one is what we call the accidental plagiarism. In most cases, people do this without knowing, or they do it because, but this form of plagiarism is not intentional. Like someone does it without knowing the effect of what they've done. So it simply occurs when a person forgets. You may forget. Forgetting is normal because error is human. So this occurs when a person forgets to cite their sources of information. So when you're given an assignment, if you're given an assignment and you've answered, you're supposed to cite or give the reference of the work you've written. But if at all you forget to cite, it means you've done what we call accidental plagiarism. Yeah, and now the last one says most people do not deliberately commit plagiarism, but it is as a result of citation errors. Yeah, sometimes you may write your work and cite, but then you do what we call improper citations. Your citations have errors, so if you're not careful, you can end up having what we call accidental plagiarism, not because you want, but just because of the citation errors you made as you are citing your work. The other thing is incomplete understanding of original materials. And the last one is overnote taking. In most cases, this one, overnote taking, is the one that results into accidental plagiarism, because someone is taking notes, they are not organized, they are not checking out their work, what they've written, what is missing. That is why in most cases it results into accidental plagiarism. So when you're doing work, when you're taking notes, you have to be careful, because sometimes you may do your work very well, but then you say it wrongly. You may do your work very well, but when you've not written it properly, meaning your notes are not proper and they are not when you do your work and it's not properly organized. So if you want to, there are some things we can do to avoid or reduce on plagiarism. Thank you for watching. That is all I had for you today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share and comment below. I remain Betty Nyunyu.